with that out of the way, since I am a little bit late, I'm going to try to go through a lot of these as quickly as I can. Well, not as quickly as I can because we still have plenty of time, but I do want to make sure that I make enough time for schoolwork that I gotta do. Spoiler alert. But regardless, we're going to go ahead and talk about this game between the Lions and the Packers. I think this is going to be the best game of the entire week for week 14 for the NFL, because on Sunday, the Sunday games, you have the Saints going up against the Giants, the Falcons going up against the Vikings, the Eagles going up against the Panthers, Jets going up against Dolphins, Browns going up against Steelers, Raiders going up against the Bucks, Jags going up against the Titans, Seahawks going up against the Cardinals, which could be a really good game, but again, I don't think it's going to be the best game. Bills going up against the Rams, Bears going up against the Niners, and Chiefs going up against the Chargers. Chiefs and Chargers could be a great game as well. And then on Monday, you have the Bengals going up against the Cowboys, which also could shape up to be a really good game. And, I've mentioned a couple of good games, right? But the reason why I think this one is going to be the best one is because it is it's a divisional game, right? The Lions, they hold the number one spot in their division right now, and the Packers right now, they hold the 3 spot. But despite holding the 3 spot, they are still arguably one of the better teams in the entirety of the NFC, talking about the Packers. We all know that the Lions are right now most likely the best team in the NFC. But this is a huge game for the Packers. If they're able to win in this game, then they could move up to second in their division, or even move up to first, I believe. I think that's in their ballpark. Actually, no, just second. They can move up to second in the NFC North right now, because that if they end up winning, then the Lions would be 11-2, and the Vikings, they could potentially end up being 11-2 as well, or the Vikings could end up losing and holding the same record as the Packers. And so far this NFC North has been incredibly competitive, aside from the Bears, because of course. But this is shaping up to be a rather competitive year now for the NFC North. And which team? Actually, the Vikings own the tiebreaker, so it wouldn't necessarily matter in terms of seedings where each of these teams are going to go. But again, this is a very important game for Green Bay, because they want to split the series between the Lions, and there's no real better opportunity than in this Thursday night game to be able to do that. I believe that the Lions on the defensive side of the ball are going to be suffering from a little bit of injuries, and this will give, the Packers a little bit of a chance to actually do something on the offensive side of the ball. And Jordan Love, he hasn't been turnover prone in the last few weeks. So, against Miami, they had a really good game. They won 30-17. I will say, however, that I feel like this game was really just, it seemed a little bit closer than what it actually was, but the Dolphins ended up racking up garbage time points, so I don't think it was nearly as close. They played well in the second half, but again, mostly garbage time. Now, Jordan Love, on the other hand, 274 yards and 2 touchdowns, completing 21 out of 28 of his passes. That's a great game. Then that's also coming off of the game against San Fran, a team that Green Bay historically struggles on, where he also threw 2 touchdowns, but he didn't throw an interception at that either. And let's see, up against the Bears, that was when he threw 1 interception. So yeah, rather shaky, but the last 2 weeks he hasn't been turnover prone. And I think now this would be everything so far is set up perfectly for Green Bay to try and win against the Lions. This would be a huge win for their season. They already lost to the Lions 24-14, and so looking to split the series is very important for them. Now, unfortunately, this time they're going to be playing in Detroit, which could make things a little bit more hectic and a little bit more difficult, because the atmosphere in Detroit is elite. And why wouldn't it be? The Lions, they've been mediocre or terrible for so many years, and now they finally have an incredible team fans are going to pop out. Fans are going to go out there and try and be loud and support their team because, you know, they finally can do that. It's been a very long time that they've been able to do that. And so playing in that environment is going to be a challenge in of itself. But if they're able to win this game, then it seems like everything would be looking up for them once the playoffs come around. Because chances are you're probably going to have to see the Lions again in Detroit Stadium again in the postseason if you're looking to make a long run. Again, that's just dependent on how the standings work and whether or not you have to play the Eagles. But this is going to be a very important game for both sides. I mean, I've been focusing a little bit more on the Packers side, but for the Lions side, really, this game is about securing the number one spot in the NFC. Because again, the Eagles, they're going up against the Panthers. So it's a big chance that the Eagles are going to end up winning in that matchup on Sunday. And if you are the Lions, that would mean that if you lose this game against Green Bay, then you're going to be tied with the Eagles. And when you look at the when you look at the schedule that both of the teams have, so after the Lions play Green Bay, they have to play Buffalo, then they get a pretty solid and easy one against the Bears, and then they probably get another easy one against San Fran, and then they have to play against the Vikings. Compared to the Eagles' schedule, right? Where they play the Panthers, then they play the Steelers, then they play the Commanders, who they've already beaten, then they play Dallas, who is terrible, and then the Giants, who are also terrible. So really, the schedule difference between the Eagles and the Lions, I mean, the Lions have the more difficult schedule coming up, and the Eagles, they have the easier one. So the Lions really need to win this game if they want to sort of cement their spot as the number one team in the entirety of the NFC and secure that first round bye. Because, you know, having a first round bye is very, very important in some of these football playoffs. Obviously, you know, if you're Dallas, having a first round bye doesn't mean anything. You're not going to win a playoff game regardless. But, you know, people like to have that first round bye because why not? And they need it. They definitely do need it. And this would be a very good statement game for the Lions as well, as they would be the heads not just of their division, but probably the favorites to go ahead and make the Super Bowl now. I mean, San Fran isn't in their way to stop them, and really the only other team that is in their way right now is probably the Eagles. And the Eagles actually beat Green Bay in a game this season. So if the Lions are able to, you know, beat them again, like if they're able to beat Green Bay again, then this is just good signs for Detroit going into the future. So I actually didn't say who I thought was going to win this game. My gut I want to say the Lions are going to win, but I am feeling rather confident in Green Bay because of the Lions defense not really being 100% healthy out there. So again, it's all dependent on whether Jared Goff is going to turn into Jared Goof and if the defense is also going to completely goof up. But I want to go, you know what? I'm going to go with the Packers just because my friend is a Packers fan and he he loves Green Bay. So I'm going to go with Green Bay on this one. With that, we are out of time for this first segment. So now we're going to go ahead and go into the second segment where I talk about what this NBA season has proven so far, and I'll be right back after this short break.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, begging to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the